Char siu is a popular Cantonese preparation for roasted pork, also sometimes called Chinese BBQ here in the States. In China, specifically southern China, in and around Hong Kong, char siu is on full display. And, like, literally, it's sometimes hung in windows. Char siu is sweet, sticky, savory, roasty, Maillardy, which should be a word if it's not already. Before we cook, I want to talk about some specialty ingredients not found in the average American pantry. First up is Shaoxing wine. It's similar to sherry, which is a good substitute if you don't have Shaoxing. Next is pink curing salt, or Prague powder number 1. It's optional but recommended. It'll give the char siu a nice pinkish shade around the rim. Then, of course, 5 spice, a popular spice blend used in Chinese cooking. We got fennel, anise, ginger, and cloves, which is actually 4 spices. I guess the 5th spice is a mystery. This is maltose. It's a type of sugar that adds a nice roasty sweetness when used. You're really going to want to warm this up or it's a pain to work with. You can sub this for honey if you can't find it. And last but not least, MSG. Do not fear MSG. MSG is your friend and a direct line to umami. Monosodium glutamate is glutamic acid, which is found in breast milk, attached to a salt, and it's not going to kill you. Char Siu Pork starts with Char Siu Glaze. Think of it as a comic book-like, vibrant red, sticky sauce that we're going to slather all over our meat. Into a medium saucepan goes half a cup of dry white wine and another half cup of the Shaoxing wine. Reduce that down by half over medium-high heat, then add in a quarter cup of soy sauce, 3 tablespoons of oyster sauce, then 2 tablespoons of red food coloring, and another 2 tablespoons of yellow food coloring. Now dump in the salt and spices, that is white pepper, sweet paprika, the 5 spice powder, MSG, and salt, followed by a cup of maltose or honey if substituting. I recommend microwaving the maltose for 30 seconds before using, or you're going to have an aneurysm trying to work with it. Bring the whole thing up to a simmer and let it ride for 5 minutes. Meanwhile, mix together 2 tablespoons of both cornstarch and water. This is called a slurry and it's going to help thicken our glaze. Dump the slurry into the glaze and whisk vigorously until it's all incorporated. At this point, the pan should look like a horror movie.
Red rum, red rum.
If it doesn't, something is terribly wrong. Once the mixture is syrupy and vibrant, set it aside to cool while we work on our meat. Some char siu recipes call for pork loin, but the loin is a little too lean for my taste, so I'm going with pork shoulder. It's marbled and fatty and full of flavor. Use a flexible, sharp knife to make short, shallow cuts into the meat, pressing your knife into the bone as to not chunk away any of the flesh. From there, cut the boneless shoulder into 2 by 5 inch pieces. Just go for manageable chunks. Portioning out the piggy is going to give us more surface area to paint with our glaze. When working with curing salts, it's important to weigh things out, so measure out the weight of the pork in grams, write it down, then we need to weigh out 0.25% of the pig's weight in pink salt. The curing salt is optional, but it gives the char siu a nice flavor, and trust me, I'm really dumb, so if I can do this, I know you can too. Add all the portioned piggy to a big plastic bag, and by now the glaze should be cooled, so pour out a quarter cup of it and pop it in the fridge for later. Add the remaining 1.5 cups of char siu glaze and the weighed out curing salt to the bag with the pork and mix it all about. We need to let the pork tango with the glaze and curing salt for at least a night before we roast it off, so in the fridge it goes. The next day, remove the pork from the bag. It should be stained red and look like that scene where the witch doctor holds the heart from Temple of Doom. If you don't get the reference, I really don't know what to tell you. Use paper towel to wipe excess glaze off the pork chunks, then set them on a foil-lined rack in a sheet tray. Pour a touch of water in the tray to avoid any scorching and smoking, then place them in a 300-degree Fahrenheit oven for an hour. One hour later, remove the pork from the oven. The piggy is going to look dry and charry on the outside, but we are not done yet. Hit the chunks with some of the reserved glaze from yesterday. Then back in the oven they go to finish cooking for another hour. After 2 hours in the oven, our char siu pork is complete. The maltose in the glaze has time to slowly caramelize onto the pork as it slow roasts, giving the exterior a gorgeous black-edged look. If the pork wasn't so deeply colored red, it would have this beautiful brown exterior. That gorgeous pink ring around the pork that there is from the curing salt. And I mean, come on, you are not going to get that juiciness from pork loin. I'm serving the char siu over a bowl of white rice with baby bok choy, nice and simple. Ooh. Let's try this as a construction worker hammers outside my apartment. That is a nice red piece of meat. It's sweet, it's savory, it's sticky, and I want to shove it in a bowl. And I think that's what we're gonna do. If you're lucky enough to have a Chinatown in your city, then most of this probably looks somewhat familiar. Like I said earlier, sometimes the char siu is just hung up and displayed, sometimes next to, hanging ducks or squid, all vibrant orange or red in color. Personally, char siu brings back fond memories. When I was like 10 to like 13 years old, we used to beg our parents all the time to drive us to Chinatown. We'd go out to eat, we'd go to the bakery, we'd go into one of the many bazaars scattered around the city, get your bamboo, get your swords, your knives, your nunchucks, your fireworks. Chinatown is basically a little kid's tchotchke heaven. I actually bought a turtle there one to 3 times separately. Parents really liked that one. Surprisingly, they were more mad about the turtle than the nunchucks, but I remember on one trip I got this pair of Bruce Lee nunchucks, would swing them around, probably almost cracked my skull open 15 to 20 times, which explains a lot today probably. And this was before the days of YouTube, before I could learn how to do cool sweet moves on the internet, so no judgment, please. Not when I was like 12. I mean, I didn't really use it. Then flash forward to high school, we all had our licenses and we'd drive to the neighborhood whenever we wanted to grab food or just hang out for a bit. And that is something I still do to this day. I love that part of town. All said, Chinatown has a special place in my heart, so. And if you're still here, thank you so much for watching. I'm gonna be posting videos every Wednesday like usual, so thanks for sticking around and I will see y'all next week. How do you say bye in Cantonese? Bye.